for the first time since April 7th. Rhode Island Governor Gina Raimondo on Sunday indicated the plan is still to have her stay-at-home order put in place in response to the coronavirus pandemic expire next weekend, if all goes well. But Raimondo cautioned she could change her mind this week depending upon the virus data. Raimondo cautioned people to plan non-in-person visits for Mother's Day and noted a correlating spike in coronavirus cases 2 weeks after the Easter and Passover holidays. Rhode Island is part of a new regional collaboration to purchase personal protective equipment and other medical supplies. The group also includes Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and the state of Delaware. Governor Raimondo yesterday talked of needing a steady supply chain for states to not bid against each other, thus driving up prices. Raimondo noted that President Trump has placed the responsibility of purchasing the materials on state governors. A second Rhode Island nursing home is becoming a specialty nursing home for coronavirus patients who are discharged from the hospital. The new coronavirus health care center is here in Woonsocket. The Oakland Grove Health Care Center will join the Oak Hill Center for rehab and nursing in Pawtucket. Nursing home residents currently make up about 75% of people who have died from the coronavirus in Rhode Island. So when they get out of the hospital for coronavirus, they will go to one of those two rehab centers. The Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management is announcing a new temporary license allowing commercial fishermen to sell certain kinds of seafood directly to consumers and retailers. The DEM says the goal is to help the state's commercial seafood industry remain viable during the coronavirus crisis. The direct sales dealer license authorizes commercial fishermen in Rhode Island to sell certain species of fin fish and to sell and transport live lobsters and crabs for sale directly to consumers and licensed seafood retailers from the vessel from which they are harvested. You can apply for a license on the DEM website.
Good morning and welcome to Coffee and, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question to the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email at joe@onesocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee and panel on ON 1240. WOON, Woonsocket Radio.
Yes, and a good morning to you. It is Coffee and Time on ON, AM, and FM on this Tuesday, May 5th. Happy Cinco de Mayo. This is Joe Callahan. Joining me at the Coffee and table today via the phone is Linda Tebow. Good morning to you, Linda.
Good morning, Joe.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I see sunshine out my window, and that all is good with the world.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
All right. And Ed Carew has not joined us yet, Linda.
Oh, I know. Oh.
I don't know why.
Oh, I didn't mean to say what. But he'll be here soon, I'm sure.
Ed is here. Okay, very good. Ed Carew from the Carew Investment Group. Thanks for joining us here on the Coffee and program.
I made it.
Yay!
Little trouble on the phone lines this morning, Ed?
No trouble on the phone lines. The wolf dog had to go out. And that takes precedence.
And you can't reason with those animals, you know?
You can't, you know. They whine and they bark and they howl and do all kinds of stuff till they win.
I know. And they always win. All right. It is time for our first message from the Carew Investment Group. So what's going on with you?
Okay, what's going on with me? Good question. Thanks, Joe. Good morning, everyone. Ed Carew here of the Carew Investment Group at telephone number 765-8880. And get some simple advice about investing. Well, okay, the truth is there is no simple advice about investing. The old days of financial uptrends and downtrends that last for days and weeks and months are long gone. Sometimes those trends only last for part of a day before changing direction. And investing is not an activity for those who don't have the time to study each twist and turn and look for each opportunity that it truly presents. Since 1987, I've seen them all, and I'll invest for you the same way I invest for myself, carefully, very carefully. And it won't cost you a nickel to talk about it with me. So give me a call, Ed Carew, at 765-8880, and our office is right here in Woonsocket. Securities are offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC, and advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
All right, Ed, thank you very much. Comments and questions can be called in 766-1240 or email them in to me, Joe at OneSocketRadio.com. Before we jump into a message that has been written in, I'm going to give a little public service announcement, and this really affects more Linda. You ready, Linda? You take a lot of walks, right? All right. This is what I've noticed when I've been outside walking around. And sidewalks are for who, Linda?
Public.
Correct.
For the people. People, yeah.
A little more specific. Who should be on the sidewalks?
People that are walking, not bikes or motorcycles.
Correct. Right. You hit it right there. People walking.
Walking people, yes.
Bicycles should not be on the sidewalks. And I don't know why people ride their bikes on the sidewalks. I do get it with young kids.
Young kids should, yeah.
And maybe their parents are trying to teach them, and they're trying to get somewhere where they can show them better how to ride their bikes. But adults on bikes on sidewalks, no.
No, that's why you have bike paths.
That's right. And I remember being taught as a youngster, second grade, third grade, we had a police officer come to the elementary school and explain that exact notion. Sidewalks are for walking or running. And bicycles, just like cars and trucks, you go with the flow of traffic. And I've always remembered that. Okay. And if you're walking, you're supposed to go against the traffic if there is no sidewalk.
Correct.
So what happened, and what has happened to me, is these adults that are on bikes on sidewalks coming at me, I'm now forced to go into the street.
Really?
Because the bikes won't go into the street. Wow. And they just smile at you as they ride on by. I'm like, first of all, you're going in the wrong direction, and you should be in the street all the time. All right, that's my pet peeve for this morning.
For the day.
Yes, it drives me crazy. Now, have you seen that, Linda?
I haven't noticed that really. Mostly I see people running, running on the sidewalk.
Okay.
It can be a little scary when you're walking and all of a sudden you hear running in back of you, and then you realize, oh no, they're just running and I'm walking. But I don't walk on the sidewalk anymore. But to get back to, remember the mask thing that we left, or we teased you last week? The governor said in Rhode Island that is, you should always have your mask with you. But if you're out walking all by yourself or with a loved one, like you walk with your daughter, you don't need the mask, but you should have the mask in case, you should encounter people. I told you, I walk by myself. Right. So, now I make sure I have the mask, but if you're outside walking and you're all by yourself, you're okay.
Okay. Now,
in Rhode Island. I don't know what it is in Massachusetts, but in Rhode Island, so...
Ed, down in Middleborough, do they have any sidewalks in that town? Sometimes it's happening.
Think we live in a cave out here, or what?
I'm just saying.
There are sidewalks in the downtown area and stuff.
Oh.
There's no sidewalks on my street. It's a dead end street.
Right. So you don't need any. Okay, I understand.
We got a big area with a lot of wooded areas.
But am I right or am I wrong, Ed? Bikes on sidewalks?
No, bikes don't belong on sidewalks.
Okay, all right. As long as I'm glad I feel vindicated in this, and I'm okay. Yeah, I'm right.
You're absolutely correct.
All right, and I've been on the sidewalks, Linda, where runners are coming by, and they've been most generous. You're walking and they're running. They're going faster than you. They'll step out into the street to walk around you.
Right.
To run around you. So I'm okay. Yeah. So I'm okay with that as well. Now, in terms of masks, this affects Ed and I. Because today starts the day in Massachusetts where if you're in public, you're supposed to be wearing a mask.
Right. Go ahead. Finish what the governor said. Yeah.
Distancing is not conducive at that time. So if I'm going outside and I'm going to go walk with my daughter or my wife, and it's just two of us or the three of us, and we're outside,
you're okay.
I don't need a mask. However, I guess technically, if we come across somebody else, then either we've got to separate by more than 6 feet, or we're supposed to have a mask on.
Right.
But you know what works as a mask, at least in Massachusetts, and I'm not sure if this is the case in Rhode Island. You know what you can do?
What?
Ed, do you know?
Oh, no, I'm listening
Pull
to
your
you.
T-shirt up over your nose and mouth. Right?
I live in Middleborough, and we don't have sidewalks, so I really don't know what to do about a mask.
You can do it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Whatever shirt you're wearing,
pull it up over your nose and mouth.
Your nose,
right? Yeah.
you're all set. It's
But you know what's easier than that? What's better and easier than that, because you're better off with a few layers. Put a bandana around your neck.
Okay.
And if you see somebody, and actually, I didn't like his message about masks, because his words were, you need to wear a mask if you're not able to social distance.
Right. I think he's thinking about stores.
Yeah. Well, I think I like what our governor said instead. Have the mask with you. Either, put a bandana around your neck, and if you see somebody approaching close that's not moving, pull it up over your nose and mouth. I know the T-shirt thing works. It does. But it's not as effective because it's only, one skinny layer, But, yeah.
Well, not...
So we're all square with that mask stuff now, are we?
Well, I'm not sure, because I still plan on going outside walking, and I don't plan on wearing one if I'm going outside to walk. If I'm going to go to a store, that's different.
Yeah.
And I will do that because a lot of stores won't let you in if you're not wearing one.
As they shouldn't, really. Because we're going to open, our governor's, what's today? No, Friday, I think, is the 8th. And she's planning to lift that stay at home and go into phase 1 of our opening up. And so masks are going to be a huge part of it. People will be wearing masks.
Well, that leads to another question. Will she lift it on this May 9th, or will she extend it?
I think she's going to lift it, because when I was watching her yesterday, it was a different time, so I caught the tail end of it. But she's going to make an announcement on Thursday, and she's pretty sure she is going to lift it and start the phase 1. The next day on the 9th. So it looks like she's going to. So I'm keeping my mask with me. Just I'm tired of staying totally at home. I do go out to walk in my private little parking lot now. I'm up to 6 miles a day.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah, doing laps. Yeah,
what is that,
yeah.
3 hours?
What?
How long does it take you to do 6 miles?
Not very. Well, I do 3 and 3. And I do a 15, I'm down actually under a little 15-minute mile now. I'm getting stronger. Yeah. I'm telling you, this staying home is getting me in shape really good. Well, I've got to keep my skating legs strong, and I've got to keep my endurance up so that, I don't get winded when I'm skating, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's put Ed on the spot right now. Ready, Ed? Because you don't have any sidewalks.
No, stop. I grew up without sidewalks in North Smithfield, Slatersville. No sidewalks there.
All right, Ed. If you go outside just to walk around, are you going to wear a mask?
No.
No? Okay. And I'm liking the civil disobedience between Ed and I.
But when I do my walking in the lot, I'm not wearing a mask.
Well, you're on your property. Right?
Well, even in the big parking lot behind me, it's a private. It's private. But when I did walk outside, I didn't wear the mask, but I had it around my neck just in case.
Just in case. All right.
That's all.
Yeah. Let me clarify. If I'm going to walk, I don't go walking around. I don't go walking around downtown.
Yeah.
But, if I'm walking, it's from here to the end of the street to get the mail or something.
Right, yeah.
Is your mailbox at the end of your street, not at the end of your driveway?
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, I think you'll be all set there, especially if you're all alone, and there's nobody around. No reason to wear one. Okay. Let's see.
I do keep one in my car. I keep
in
one in
case you
my
got to
car so that if I go to a stop off in a restaurant or in a CVS or something, I have it there to take with me to wear. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Now, all right. One other question then: should you wear a mask if you pump your own gas?
I don't.
Because you seem to be 6 feet away from everybody else.
You're away from everyone, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'll tell you something, though. If I were pumping my own gas, after I pumped my gas, I would use hand sanitizer because you don't know who was holding on to that,
That's
who was
true.
there before you. I would. Either that, wear gloves, take them off afterwards. But, and that's what they talk about because we don't know who came before you that could have been infected. So have the hand sanitizer in your pocket, too, or in your car.
I have that in my car, but the Shell station that I go to here in Middleborough, right on the Middleborough-Lakeville line, every time you go to pump gas, there's a kid out there. I think there's 6 or 8 pumps. It's a lot. And this kid runs over before you pick up the handle, and he sprays it down, sprays the handle, sprays the whole thing.
That's excellent, Ed. That's excellent. But if you were somebody that didn't, I would still go that route. Yeah. Well, no, that's really good. Really good.
I've never heard of that of any other station doing that. Now maybe the full service stations do that, but I'm just not sure.
We do that because we don't have sidewalks. We don't have to worry about that. Down to gas pumps instead.
I didn't
You're
know.
way ahead of the curve.
You guys may have sidewalks, but you're not very civilized.
See, I go to the place where they pump the gas for me, so, and that's the time you'd want the mask, because if you're going to be talking to somebody, fill it up or whatever,
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, and what I have noticed that have started to do is even on small purchases. I always used to pay cash, but even if I go in just to buy a gallon of milk, I'm using my debit card.
Uh-huh.
And that way I don't hand money over. They don't hand any money back to me. So it's just me and the card and the machine.
But do you have your sanitizer to use on your hands after that? Because who touched the pad before you?
What's that?
What?
What was that again, Linda?
Well, when you use your debit card, don't you have to touch the pad thing to put your PIN in?
Sometimes, not all. Yeah. Well, yeah, you do have to use your.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yeah. The thing is, and I know you don't want to hear it, Joe, but in the new normal, and I think what this is making us pay attention. That I think people don't realize that. I use my card, too, and if there's something that I can order, I call and I pay for it ahead of time.
Well, yeah.
And then, so that I can only pick it up. But because, that keypad, how many people have touched it before you?
Oh, I know. But what I've also noticed...
it wouldn't be... It's never a bad idea that when you're doing any kind of transaction or touching a surface, a common surface, to use the sanitizer after. It's no big deal.
I noticed for the first time this past weekend, and this was at Stop and Shop, and I'm sure it's the rule at least a Stop and Shop and possibly others. After the customer's done using the debit card and that transaction is done, the cashier spins the machine around and sanitizes it for me.
See, exactly, but she's protecting the next customer in line, and that's as they should. And I think you're going to see much more of that as businesses open. They're going to have to. They're going to have to.
But I like the idea at the gas stations, or the convenience stores, someone out there wiping down the hose and stuff. That's a good idea.
Excellent.
Yeah.
They wipe down the whole anywhere that you might touch on the pump.
Right.
Yeah. All right. That's a great idea. Yeah. All right,
and
Ed.
I usually use as much as possible. I use Apple Pay, so that I don't have to use a card. I don't have to touch anything.
Right.
Yeah, I do too.
That's another good. That's a good idea.
All right, we're going to take our first break here on the Coffee and program, so it's time for a second message from the Carew Investment Group. Take it away, Ed.
Okay, thanks again, Joe. Good morning again, everyone. Ed Carew here of the Carew Investment Group. Are you retired or retiring soon? Well, that's great. Congratulations. You may be retiring, but your money can't afford to retire. I'm Ed Carew of the Carew Investment Group at 68 Cumberland Street in Woonsocket. At the Carew Investment Group, we offer personal investment management of client money, especially from the proceeds of their 401k after they leave the workforce. So to find out more about our services and for professional management of your investments, call me, Ed Carew, or call Paul Carew at 765-8880. Securities are offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
All right, Ed, thank you. And the Coffee and program will continue. We have a message to get to, and we can get to yours as well. Give us a call, 766-1240, or email it in to me, joe at onesocketradio.com.
I'm here with Kara Benjamin of the Benjamin Insurance Agency. Kara, tell me about your agency.
Sure. We started our agency from scratch, which means we opened with no customers. We have grown because of all the family, friends, and locals that supported us over the years. We are proudly woman-owned and operated since 2006. We're a family business, mother and daughter team, so you get two different generations coming together to get the best of both worlds.
You're in good hands with Allstate and Kara and Celeste Benjamin of the Benjamin Insurance Agency, 125 Eddie Dowling Highway, across from Dowling Village in North Smithfield, 765-5000.
Our business is truly a referral business, and we have built it based on our premier service level and commitment to what we do. If you are looking for personalized service with people who care, that would be us.
Hey, can you use some good news? What a question. Well, how's this? The Village Haven will continue its chicken family-style takeout-only run this Friday and Saturday from 3 to 7 p.m. and Sunday from 1 to 6 p.m. The trial run was successful beyond expectations, so the hours are being extended. You must wear a mask and follow the social separation markings. The operation runs so smoothly, you'll be in line for only a brief time, and then your order will be in your hands in a couple of minutes. Cinnamon rolls and chicken soup are also available. Hallelujah! Your Village Haven Chicken Family Style Fix to Go will be waiting for you this Friday and Saturday from 3 to 7 p.m. and Sunday from 1 to 6 p.m. at 90 School Street, Forestdale. There are still reasons to smile.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
ON Radio.
Thanks for joining us on the Coffee and program. This is Joe Callahan here with Ed Carew. Hello there, Ed.
Hello there.
Hello there. And Linda Tebow. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning again.
All right. You don't have your mask on right now, do you?
I do not.
All right.
I am in my own house.
All right. We do have a note that's been written into me. So here we go. So according to the writer, it says that this was printed in the Providence Journal on May 1st, 2020. In California, a couple of immunology doctors now have over 2 months of data and have concluded that the mortality rate is very similar to the seasonal flu. And furthermore, every day in Rhode Island, statistically, 27 people die from a variety of causes. That works out to about 9,800 people a year. This is before COVID-19. At the end of the year, that number will probably not change a lot. That's all I say. There's no question there. There's just a bunch of statements. I don't know how true all these numbers are, but this is what the writer has written. So take it for what it's worth, I guess. Okay. If anyone has any comments, go right ahead. I don't.
I don't.
Oh, I don't. No? I don't either. I can't dispute it or anything else.
Or refute. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay then. Don Shula passed away yesterday.
Yeah.
Former
90 years old, huh?
90.
Years old.
I didn't realize he was quite that old.
I didn't either until I looked it up.
Yeah. Now winningest coach right now in the NFL before Bill Belichick may overtake him. I just don't know how many wins Bill is behind at this time, but I never heard anyone say anything bad about Don Shula. And
no, I never did either.
No, he's just always just a great guy and a very smart football guy. So sure, I'm sure they're mourning him a lot down there in Miami. All right. Ed, over the weekend I saw J. Crew filed for bankruptcy.
Yes,
Really?
they did.
Yes, they did. Yeah, they're getting hit hard, Linda, by the COVID-19, and
Right, sure.
the stores closed, and people are just not buying online from them right now. So, were they a publicly traded company, Ed? Do you know?
Yes,
They were?
Yep.
All right. So, do they want to come out of bankruptcy, or are they just closing up shop? Do you know?
No, they're going to continue operating stores. They've gotten a line of credit so that they continue operating some of their stores. They won't operate them all.
Yeah. So they'll be closing quite a few as they try to reorganize.
They haven't come out with all of that information yet.
Yeah. Okay. Ed, do you think the state of Rhode Island will start to reopen this weekend? Linda thinks so. I'm not too sure. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't spend enough time, looking at what's going on in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
But last week we were talking about Massachusetts, and it was supposed to end May 4th, and you said Charlie's probably going to extend it for a month, and I said, I think 2 weeks. That's the way he tends to do things. Yeah, that's what he did. He extended it to May 18th.
2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah. So I think she probably won't. I don't think she'll reopen it.
Okay. Well, what I'm thinking, the reason I don't think so is because she had the big, when she came out and she said there was a big spike in COVID-19 after Easter. And she said, well, that's all getting together.
Right, yeah.
Well, this weekend's Mother's Day, and I think she's going to worried that people are going to get together and celebrate Mother's Day with large family gatherings, and there might be another spike.
Mm-hmm.
So she may keep it closed till at least after Mother's Day, push it off another week, and see what happens.
Yeah.
Just my thoughts of what might happen right there. All right. Okay. On the good side of things, the Woonsocket City Council had a meeting last night that was heard here on ON Radio, and they passed for their first ordinance 7-0. An ordinance that says outside dining can take place at restaurants a little later on when it gets a little warmer, and that way they can have tables on the sidewalk, and you can keep your 6-foot distance between tables, and you can dine when it's nice outside. It's got to pass one more time, for a second time, but I think this is a good idea. And once it does pass, it'll be good until just past Autumn Fest, and the time will go up to 10 o'clock each night. You like the idea of the outside dining, Ed?
I don't have a problem with that, but is that for any restaurant?
I think it's any restaurant that wants to do it.
Oh, that can provide the outside dining.
Well, they'd have to put their own chairs and their own tables.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're going to put their own chairs.
Yeah.
Doesn't Woonsocket have some small restaurants that are in residential areas?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
No, not where? Yeah,
I'm thinking
couple.
like a Black Grill is right in a residential area. They don't have. Well, they have their parking lot across the street, but that's not very conducive to eating.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'd be able to take advantage of this.
Yeah.
But other would.
That's in the phase at the end of phase 1.
Mm-hmm.
That the governor's plan, outside dining is going to be allowed, and probably that's why they jumped on that bandwagon, because not too many restaurants have outside dining right now.
Yeah.
And
so when you were running things in North Smithfield, did any restaurants have outside dining, Linda?
No, not at all. Since then, there's a couple of the restaurants. Well, for instance, the Pines and not Village Haven, but Gators has an outside, as does Lindy's, but like a deck kind of a thing.
Okay.
That kind of outside dining. But when I was there, no, there was nothing like that. Because, they got the ordinance, even with the noise. I think that's what you might be referring to as well. The noise ordinance. That, you could be disturbing residents.
That's why I was asking, is it all restaurants? Because, some of these restaurants may not even have an area to do it other than on the sidewalk.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now,
Yes.
does that present a problem with, I don't think they own a sidewalk.
Right, they don't.
Hey, Dave, what do you have?
Joe, I just wanted to come in here and first do a little stage direction, bring your mic up a little bit. But on what you're discussing here, it sounds like there's some facts that were in last night's city council meeting and some historical facts that you guys might not be aware of. The original statutes that came in, city ordinances that came in over history of not allowing outside dining on the sidewalk were because of impediment to pedestrian traffic back in the days when the sidewalks were just teeming with people. That doesn't occur anymore. And also, there used to be a whole lot more pigeons around and a whole lot more dogs around. And eating outdoors had its challenges under circumstances like that. So over time, ordinances were were put in place. So you had to have your patrons come indoors where it was more controlled situation. Knowing that we needed to do something to stimulate the businesses of these people and increase their seating capacity, because the restrictions inside will limit their seating capacity. Maybe we can mitigate that if we let people go outside. So the ordinance for the city council put in last night will reverse some of those changes, some of those restrictions for outside dining, where it can be done safely, where there can be safe passage of pedestrians, and where there can be, where the restaurant is still in control of what's going on. And it will be until now. There was several amendments last night. One of the amendments brought it from up until 9 p.m. I think John Brian is the one that suggested till 10 p.m., and that amendment passed. Alex Kithis put forward two great amendments to the whole thing, and both of them passed 7-0, which is pretty good. For those who are watching the politics of, the interaction of the councilors, Alex brought forward some really great ideas. One of them was taking it from a September 30th date to, or September date rather, to October 13th to include the date of the weekend that Autumn Fest is expected to be. And so those are the changes, and it's temporary, and it's just a way to try to work with the restaurant owners who have all taken it in the keister on this one to try to give them something more to use, another tool to run their businesses. Did I cover all the bases there?
I think so. Okay. But it does, Ed brings up a good point of, what if you're a restaurant in a residential area with no sidewalk? What can they do?
If you have an area outside your restaurant that you can make impervious, in other words, if you have a grass lawn out in front of your business, that ain't going to cut it because the Department of Health won't let you do business there. But if you could cover it over with wooden planks, if you could put cement on it, whatever, steel grates, something that would make it a solid surface, then as long as it met all the Department of Health food safety requirements, they would allow you to serve that way too. And of course, you can always serve out a window for people to walk around, but
sure.
Last night they were more concerned. And of course, Woonsocket is a city that has sidewalks in most neighborhoods, not like North Smithfield. And so because of that, that's what they felt it was something they could do. I understand Dave LaHouse of K's was behind the idea of running it up the flagpole. The mayor grabbed hold of it, and she asked the council president to introduce it on her behalf. He did so, and after several amendments that seemed very enthusiastic, the whole thing passed 7-0.
Okay. So it looks like it'll go forward. They'll have to vote on it again one more time before.
I believe it. Yeah, I think because it's an ordinance, it gets 2 passages, but it'll be here in time, I suppose, for when we can use it.
Okay.
I have a couple more questions if we get time.
Yeah, go ahead, Ed.
Will they be allowed to serve liquor outside, for one?
Well,
and
yeah.
the other one is, what happens if someone gets hurt while dining on the sidewalk, either by, falling or something like that, or if a vehicle drives by and kind of plows into the people sitting there eating?
Okay.
Who's responsible
well, my
for
understanding.
that? Who's insurance?
Yeah, my understanding is that the short answer: life is not without risks. Insurance companies try to mitigate them, and so do lawyers, and like that. But my understanding is that one key phrase earlier in the discussion will cover your first question, Ed, and that is the restaurant owner must be in control of the area outside on the sidewalk as they are on the inside. I think that covers your liquor business there. If they cannot control the consumption of it, then it'll violate their license. It's actually a state license administered by a city. So the second part of it is I don't know the definitive answer for what happens if. A lot of that is life happens stuff, and it generally tends to get tested by actual calamity.
Okay.
So the restaurant owner will have to assess the risk and decide whether or not they're good with it.
Okay. We're going to take a break here in the Coffee and program. It's time for a look at the forecast, which is being brought to you by Cars.com. Sunny day today, not as warm as yesterday. High temperature will be near 62. Tonight, mostly clear skies. Low temperature will get down to around 36. Wednesday starts out sunny. We'll have increasing clouds in the afternoon. High near 50. Wednesday night, cloudy skies and a low temperature around 37. Thursday looks like cloudy skies. Showers likely mainly late morning into the early afternoon. And a high temperature will be near 57. Friday, mostly sunny and a high near 59. And currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street, we have 50 degrees. Whether you need a car now or plan to buy someday soon, Cars.com has nearly 2 million cars ready for home delivery. Connect with dealers to tour cars virtually and search great prices. Check out Cars.com. More Coffee Ants coming up. Please stay tuned.
There's a new feature at valleybreeze.com that will make it easier to find the business or deal you're looking for, as well as share their ads with family and friends. Head to valleybreeze.com. At the right, find This Week's Ads. Click it, and you'll see all the ads that were in the Breeze's 5 newspapers. Maybe you've finished with your paper or are recalling an ad you noticed a few days ago. Just use the search function, and the ad is right there, ready to be printed or shared. Merchants, share your ads on social media. The Valley Breeze. Our mission is your success.
So you're remodeling your home, and you want to find just the right flooring. So off you go to DRL Carpet. Why? Because they have the best selection and prices in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. That means you don't have to wait. Plus, it means you can get it installed now. So first you get the best price. Next you get the best service, and you get the best selection. Whether you're looking for carpet, tile, hardwood floors, the place to shop is DRL Carpet, 27 Veterans Way, Woonsocket, next to World War II Veterans Memorial Park. DRL Carpet reminds you there's a big difference between getting the job done and getting the job done right. DRL Carpet of Woonsocket.
Get down to brass tacks at home with me, Bob Vila, and my tip of the day every day right here.
Bob Vila's Home Improvement Tip of the Day can only be heard on ON, AM, and FM every weekday at 6:50 in the morning. Bob Vila's Home Improvement Tip of the Day is brought to you by Cumberland Kitchen and Bath Design Center. Bob Vila's Home Improvement Tip of the Day on ON Radio.
Coffee and on ON, AM and FM. This is Joe Callahan here with Ed Carew and Linda Tebow. And I do like the idea, by the way, of outside dining. It's done in other communities. It's certainly no reason why it can't be done here. Linda, there isn't anything on the rule books in North Smithfield that said they can't have it in North Smithfield, is there?
No, not that I know of. As I said, but usually the restaurants that we have, they have the decks. So, that takes care of no grass kind of a thing. And I know that many of the ones with the deck service, and it's really nice. They have rules, to speak to, what you were saying, Ed. When people are, people go out onto the decks, the wait staff knows that they're out there, and nobody can just mosey in and get a drink. It has to go through the wait staff so that, they control the quantity of drinks that a person has out there. So it's very nice. It's very nice. Some of them are in wooded areas, or it's really it's nice, but it's on decks. So, it meets all the requirements for the Department of Health.
Yeah. Oh, we have them all over the place out here.
Yeah, and it's nice. It's nice. Yeah, that. I think in the rural suburbs, that's the kind of outside dining you see.
Yeah.
Where
some of them are on deck,
there's a view that's worth looking at, and it's really quite nice. Yeah.
Okay. On another subject, I heard this on our national news a little earlier. Some of the states, Ed, are running out of money for their unemployment checks.
Oh, yeah, I'm not surprised.
And some states said, we only have enough money to last about another month. And some states are already borrowing from the federal government to pay their unemployment. Well, how long can those states keep borrowing to pay their unemployment?
It depends on the terms of what they're borrowing at. If it's something that can be paid back over a period of years, that's one thing. If it's something that can be forgiven by the federal government under certain circumstances, we don't know all the details.
Okay. But it just it seems like it's not never ending. I mean, the borrowing can't go on, forever, right?
No, the borrowing won't go on forever. I think that what's happening is that some states are trying to apply for this federal money for unemployment because I think it's July 31st, the $600 a week, I guess, that of federal additional federal unemployment, that goes away.
Okay.
So, they're thinking that the states may have to make up for part of that.
Okay. Well, it's a tough situation. Speaking of tough situations, and I hope this doesn't escalate more, but did you hear about the killing in Michigan at the Family Dollar store? This comes back to the whole mask thing.
The mask, wear your mask, and no, I'm going to shoot you.
A security guard at a Family Dollar store wouldn't let somebody in because they didn't have a mask on.
Yeah.
And so it got escalated. It got ugly. The family left and then came back and shot the security guard and killed him.
Yeah.
And now, according to the latest, is the Michigan police have it's a wife and husband and son, and they have the wife in custody, but the other two are still at large.
Wow,
really?
Well, at least as of this morning. I mean, maybe they've caught up with them by now, but that's the last I heard. They were still at large. But isn't that just crazy?
Yeah, it is crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah, it is.
I understand you got to get some stuff at the store, but go back to like Linda said, get a bandana, right?
Right, and then just pull it up over your nose. It's not, it's not a big deal. People, just these are the people that. Well, obviously they are troubled people to begin with.
Yeah.
I don't think rational people do things like that.
No.
I mean, I don't think rational people do that,
so.
And but these are the people that become part of the problem and not part of the solution.
Right. But I just hope it doesn't escalate in other states.
Well, I would hope. I hope we have more rational people than irrational people in the world. But
I think we do, but it's always the irrational people that make the news.
Well, of course it is. Of course it is. It makes better news than trying to, people that go about their business doing what they're supposed to do. Absolutely.
Sure. Well, now that we're dealing with the whole COVID-19 situation, but now you hear what they have to deal with out in the state of Washington?
What?
Yes, murderous bugs.
Those hornets?
The murder hornets.
Wow.
Yes. Have you seen a picture of these guys?
Yeah,
No.
they're big. Couple inches.
They're
Really?
cute. They're 2 inches long. Now that
Yeah.
doesn't sound like a lot, but it is.
Wow.
It actually is for a hornet.
Wow.
You've seen the hornets that we have around here.
Right.
You know, they're rather thin, and maybe they go to a half an inch if they even get that large. So you know, quadruple it. So we're looking. They're big and they're thick, and they go after honeybees.
Wow.
And they're
Where do
called
they come from, Joe? Where are they coming from? That doesn't sound
Asia.
like they're indigenous to
No.
our country. Are they?
No,
Did they?
They're from Asia.
Asia is right.
Of course
And,
they are.
And they say this particular brand of hornet kills 50 people a year in Japan.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
because the problem is, or the situation is they're not like bees. Bees sting you once and then they're done.
Well,
These
their
sting-
stinger comes out.
Can
Yeah.
sting you, but these guys can sting you multiple times.
Wow.
Their
And there's
stinger is a quarter of an inch long,
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean,
and they have very poisonous, you know.
and there's venom.
They're venom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, sometimes you get a shot from the doctor and the needle isn't that long.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, that's almost the size. That's the size of an intramuscular. That's
Yeah.
probably why it kills you. It goes in deeper.
I was looking at a video last night on my iPad while TV was playing in the background, and it had a picture of one of these bees attacking a mouse, and
Okay.
it killed the mouse.
Wow.
Within seconds.
And well, the video probably lasted for about a minute, and at the end of the minute, the mouse was no longer moving. It had been poisoned, but the size of this thing, it was about half the size of the mouse.
Wow.
I mean, I know a mouse isn't the biggest thing, around, but
right.
still, this thing was half the size of the mouse, and it was,
God.
really scary
Yeah.
to think of something that's half the size of your finger, the length of your finger, or that is, it makes our bees look like little guys.
Wow.
Nothing. Yeah.
Wow.
Now they're called murder hornets because they go after honeybees and they decapitate them.
Really?
I'm not sure why. Do they are they using them for food, Ed? Do you know, or they just don't like them?
They decapitate them, and then after they've done that to the whole swarm or the whole hive, then they go back and they eat the bees.
They do. Okay, they're using it for food. Okay.
Oh.
Now, from what I've read, these hornets, murder hornets, don't normally go after humans or pets. However, the problem is they make their hive in the ground.
Yeah.
So you
yeah.
step on it and not know it, and they're going to defend their hive like crazy
Yeah.
and come after you.
Wow.
So the good thing is for us is that they're just in Washington State.
Yeah, now.
And-
The COVID-19 was just in Washington State for a little bit, too,
Yeah.
Oh,
But
wow.
They're working on just keeping them there and see if they can
Wow.
eradicate them out there, and so they don't travel, to the rest of the United States. But we'll see.
Wow.
The problem is that people out in Washington and in other parts of the country, they're reporting sightings of these hornets, but the sightings are false. Not
Right,
everybody
right.
knows what what one of these hornets look like. So
Did they figure out? I mean, you said they came in from Asia. Is anybody inquiring into what product they came in on, or is it?
that I haven't heard.
They
They
haven't.
don't
No.
seem to know. They think they came in like maybe in a container or something, something
Container
like
thing,
that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's not like there's a million of these things out there. Washington State only has two.
Two, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's-
and they're trying
Has
to
two? Has
just two bees.
2 bees?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
but they're trying to get them, to kill them so that
Right,
they don't
right, yeah.
multiply.
Right. Could they go forth and multiply, Wow.
Mhm. Yeah.
Wow.
Now,
Wow.
what's people are confusing the Asian giant hornet with the European hornet, and what happens is the European hornet is actually bigger, but less lethal.
Really?
But you, as just your lay person out there, you're not going to take the time to try to figure out,
which
hey,
one's
is
which?
this
Yeah.
is it the bad hornet or the good hornet?
Right. Exactly.
It's like when you run across a snake.
Yeah.
Or a shark.
Good one. Yeah.
Right. Discuss it. You say, what kind of shark are you?
Wow.
You're just gonna be scared. But if you go look it up, it is probably the meanest looking insect you'll ever see.
Wow, I'll have to check that out.
Just its face and its markings, it's like yikes.
Wow.
And I saw one picture. I'm assuming the murder hornet was already dead, but someone was holding it by its legs, and you can actually see how big it is compared to someone's hand, and it's huge for a bug.
Wow.
And it's scary. So something else to be aware of as we deal with COVID-19. Now we got to worry about bad hornets.
Killer bees, yeah.
Killer bees,
wow.
yeah. All right. We got more to come up with here on the Coffee and program, and we will. But we're going to take our final break on the Coffee and program. More is coming your way, so we ask you not to go anywhere. You're listening to Coffee and on ON Radio. Kathy at the Honey Shop reminds you that they have face shields made in the USA that are sanitizable for full face protection and easier breathing, which will come in handy, especially as the warmer weather approaches. The Honey Shop also has multi-layered fabric masks, also made in the USA, and handcrafted masks made right here in Woonsocket. And arriving soon to the Honey Shop, KN95 masks, and our next batch of hand and surface sanitizing spray will be Ocean Breeze fragranced. The Honey Shop, 2 locations in Woonsocket, 6 Winthrop Street and 1300 Park Avenue, The Honey Shop.
Hi, folks. This is Dave Richards. Over the next couple of weeks, most of us are going to see a deposit in our bank accounts or a check from the federal government. The average family of 4 will receive $3,400. Now, if you need this money to pay your bills, that's what you should do. But if you're still getting paid, the money that's been sent to you is to help stimulate your local economy. We'd like to encourage you to spend that money locally to help our local economy first. Please don't go out running to big box stores where the money leaves town and leaves the state, as a matter of fact. Think of the local mom-and-pop businesses right here in the Blackstone Valley. And think local first. Buy local first. Support your friends and neighbors. Thank you.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
It's Coffee In on ON AM and FM. This is Joe Callahan here with Ed Carew and Linda Tebow. Thanks for joining us this morning. All right, now you hear about this kind of story every once in a while where an underage driver kid takes his car, goes for a joyride.
Yep.
Right? You hear about those stories? Okay, this one's out of Utah, and the person that took their parents' car for a joyride was 5 years old.
What?
Now I'm thinking this must be a tall 5-year-old. Something.
Yeah.
How do you reach the pedals?
Yeah.
and the steering wheel and still see out the window. Now he didn't cause an accident, which is amazing. But the Utah State Police say they caught the 5-year-old driving his parents' car down the highway. The boy is said to have left his home in Ogden, Utah, after he had an argument with his mother, during which she refused to buy the child a Lamborghini. So it's really the mom's fault.
5 years old?
He's 5.
Oh my,
yes.
How does he know the word Lamborghini? Wow.
Maybe he's just a car enthusiast, and that's fine, and they know their cars and what they look like, and that's the kind that he wanted. But this is and even the more amusing part. They stopped him on the highway, state police. He was going, and they asked him where he was going. Now he's in Utah, remember?
Right.
Well, he's going to California to buy the Lamborghini for himself.
Oh my God!
I think because he's 5, he doesn't quite realize how much these things cost.
Did he have a checkbook with him?
Or his piggy bank.
Well, that was funny. They asked him how much money he had. He had $3 in his pocket.
Wow.
So he's got to put a down payment down on his Lamborghini.
How big was he? Did they say? Because I'm like you. How did he reach?
Yeah.
How could he see?
They don't have that about. Let's see if we can find something else on it.
At 5 years old, they still need to be in one of those booster seats usually.
They should. And even if he is in the booster seat, then he really can't reach the pedals.
He can't reach the pedals. Oh my God.
So, let's see. Is there any more information on? No, I don't. I wish I had it.
Yeah. I'd like to see a picture of that. Really.
It almost sounds like a fictitious story. Fake news.
Fake news. Right.
But and since we're not in Utah, we really got no way of verifying it. But they do have the Utah Highway Patrol trooper's name who pulled the boy over. His name is Rick Morgan. He pulled the car over because it was going too slow on the highway, and just we would have saw 5-year-old behind the wheel. It was an SUV he was driving.
An SUV besides. Wow.
Yeah. I don't know why I don't know why he thought he had to go to California to buy this. Maybe there are no Lamborghini dealership in Utah.
In Utah, yeah.
But he did plan
it on TV. You saw a commercial on TV, and it was a dealership in California. It's got to be.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know. I don't know my geography that well of Utah. Is Ogden, Utah, right on the line?
Don't know.
Out there.
I don't know. Wow.
But since there's no one got hurt, so you can laugh at this kind of story. But I really wish they put in the height of the 5-year-old to figure out, unless it was some kind of, I don't know, handicap
or self-driving car.
Or self-driving car.
Yeah.
And they always say, you got to watch out what you say around kids and what you do around kids, because they're always watching and they're always listening.
Yeah. Wow.
And so they figure out, okay, it's this metal object goes into this hole in the car, and if you turn it, car starts.
Yeah.
All right. And it's that pedal on the right that makes it go. It's that big pedal in the middle that makes it stop. Got it. How they know they're gonna put it? How they know they have to put it in drive? Well, maybe it's right in between the seats.
Yeah.
Okay. You move this thing down to D, and we go forward. Okay, I got it.
Wow.
What else is there to know?
Wow.
And he probably already knows he has to wear a seatbelt, so he probably
maybe he was one of those car prodigy kids. Some of them are savants in music or math. He was a car person, a car savant.
He's just a car person. He likes his sports cars, and Lamborghini happens to be his favorite.
Lamborghini, huh? Wow.
He's got some pretty high tastes.
Yeah.
Imagine if he made it all the way to I don't know how he would have found a dealership in California, but and walked in. I want to buy a car.
Wow, go big, right?
I'll take that red one.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, even Ed, who loves his Audi, doesn't Lamborghini, right?
Lamborghini.
I don't want a Lamborghini. No.
Talk about a sign of the times, though. I was shocked when I say it was a nice thing that the kid did, but lost a tooth and got $5 from the tooth fairy and donated it to the police, I believe. But a sign of the times. What? You won't buy me a Lamborghini? I'm out of here. I'm running away. Oh my God.
And the mom or the dad probably thought, yeah. It's a silly thing he's asking for. I mean. But sometimes kids are serious,
Wow. It used to be buy me a bicycle, Wow. Lamborghini.
We've gone past that. Now. And we've moved on to bigger and better things.
Well, I guess so. Jeez.
But they'll have a story to tell this kid for a long time.
I guess.
Well, Joe, just so you know, the driving distance from Ogden, Utah to Los Angeles is 724 miles.
Wow. All right, that's a long trip.
Kid would have to stop to get $3 worth of gas along the way.
Well, then he wouldn't have any money to buy the car.
I don't know. 0% financing for 8 years. What do you want?
It's a pretty good
and
deal.
a lot of the payments are delayed for 90 days now because of the COVID-19.
It's a bargain.
Wow. Oh, God.
All right. So there's that end of the spectrum. Then there's this other guy. A lot of good stories out of close to California. Did you see the picture of the man? He's in San Diego County. You got to wear a face covering in public, right? Right,
yeah.
Linda? Okay.
Yes.
He decided to wear a Ku Klux Klan hood to the grocery store.
Ooh.
and I actually saw a picture of this guy, and there's no mistaking it. That's what it is.
Oh my God!
He could have said, "Well, no, it's a pillowcase or something." No, it's pointy. It stands up high. Yet you really cannot miss it. He doesn't have the whole robes on, but he does have the hood on. I don't think there's any markings on the hood, but it is clear exactly what it is. And this happened over this past weekend. They did have different clerks, and the management repeatedly asked the man to either remove the hood and to leave the store. But it took a little while. He did eventually leave from too much, little peer pressure, I guess, on this guy. And even the mayor of the town, which is Santee, California, Santee, which I guess is near San Diego, their mayor, John Minto, had to condemn the Saturday incident, calling it a sad reminder of intolerance. No word on why he was wearing the hood, other than, well, it's the only face covering I have, although I don't know if he even said that.
Oh, the irrational people of the world, Sign of those folks. Wow.
And some people want their 15 minutes of fame.
Right.
And, and someone took a picture of him, and someone put it online, and now here we are in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, talking about this guy, although I don't know his name, in Santee, California, wearing the KKK hood to the grocery store.
Well, there's no words. And, he's not famous. He's infamous. So, that's...
I think he's actually pretty lucky he didn't get hurt.
Right, yeah.
And, if you offend someone to such an extent, they might start taking it out on you.
Right.
Which isn't the right thing to do there, but it's a chance you're taking.
Right.
And, even me that doesn't want to wear a face covering, Linda, I'm not going to do that.
I know you wouldn't, Joe. I know you would never do that. I know that, Joe, for sure.
Like, no. I don't know.
Oh my God.
So some people, what did you say earlier? Is it the dumb people that we hope there's more rational people than irrational people?
Right, but you can't fix stupid. That's what I've said before. Oh my God. Yeah.
Those are just some of the events that took place over this past weekend, and now you're up to date. See, none of the fun stuff happens around here. Although we did have a nice rally at the State House in Massachusetts, Ed. Did you see that yesterday?
Yeah, a lot of people.
Boston, did you see that? That scared the you-know-what out of me. Yeah. Oh, my God. See all those people shoulder to shoulder, no masks?
Yep.
And that was a hot spot. Boston was a hot spot, and probably still is, and is going to be again after that.
And Linda, there was one nurse in the whole group too.
Was there? What?
Yes, it was saying we should. It's not as I don't know what. I wish I could remember exactly what she said, but she was a nurse and said it's not as bad as everyone thinks it is, and we should reopen the state.
Well.
Yeah, okay. Yet she had her scrubs on and her mask.
Wow, she had her mask on. Yeah.
It was hanging down